What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big Chunky. Today we're just going to have Halo in the background for this video. So I just wanted to talk about the upcoming Halo game, the new Halo game coming out, Halo Infinite, being released on the Xbox Series X, Xbox One family of systems, and possibly PC. I'm not entirely sure about that, but immediately going to Game Pass. So it's releasing on all of Microsoft's console platforms dating back to 2013, which is probably an indication as to how the game looks, or maybe how it functions, or how it will function on the VCR model of the Xbox One. But I digress. Anybody can play the game how they want on whatever system they have, which I think is a welcoming is a welcoming feeling. Anybody can play the new Halo game as long as they have an Xbox One. And of course, if you want to play with the best visual fidelity and the best performance, you get the new Xbox Series X when that comes out. Either way, I'm here to talk about it. So I just wanted to talk about, I've heard a lot of varying opinions on Halo Infinite, where people may think that Halo Infinite doesn't look necessarily next gen, and I kind of have to agree on that point. We've seen a lot of demos for games that are going to the PlayStation 5. We saw the demo for Unreal Engine 5. And does Halo Infinite look as good as those games? Absolutely not. No, no, not at all. It doesn't. But I don't think that necessarily makes it a bad game outright. It's still, by my opinion, it looks like a Halo game, which is the main thing. We're looking for a game that looks like Halo because we want to play Halo. I don't really care what Halo looks like. If Halo started to go in a more, say, like a Wind Waker Twilight Princess kind of difference, whereas Halo looks more like a Twilight Princess, but if they decided to go for more of a Wind Waker type of art style, I'd be more reserved in my opinions. I'd be more like, hey, what's going on here, really? But still looks pretty realistic. It still feels it looks like it's going to still feel like Halo, despite all the changes that are actually coming to this game. And what are some of these changes? So, one, right away, the biggest change is that it's an open world game. Halo Infinite is open world. That's something we haven't really seen before. We've never seen a Halo game that isn't segmented into different missions and levels, and no, you can't backtrack and go back to where you were in the main story of the game unless you go to the mission select or whatever and pick your mission. It's never been an open world. But I'm going to say neither has a game like Zelda been an open world. We didn't have an open world game in the more modern sense of what an open world game is until Breath of the Wild. And people may have had mixed opinions about that as well, but look where that really turned out. It turned out to be one of the best Zelda games and a welcome evolution of the franchise. And I think we may want to hold our opinions back until we actually play Halo Infinite, because it could be a similar situation where Halo Infinite, maybe Halo has always meant to be an open world game, and now we have it. Because the world structure of Halo Infinite, just given completely based on the 8-minute demo that we saw at Microsoft's event, it reminds me a little bit of what would Halo be if they took a lot of inspiration for Borderlands. And I really like Borderlands. Borderlands is a very specific type of shooter, but it does have that open world aspect where, of course, there are segmented levels, but the levels themselves are really big and fun to explore, and you can always go back to them. So, not completely open world like Halo Infinite looks like it's going to be, but it does kind of give me that kind of vibe where things are going on around in the world and you can run around this gigantic big playground area. And that's really what excites me the most about Halo Infinite, is how different it's going to feel to play, especially with a friend. Co-op campaign, I believe, is coming back, split screen. So maybe I'll have my friend come over, not come over, he lives in the house with me, come into the room, and we can co-op campaign some Halo. And that sounds awesome to me, especially with how diverse, or how different this game is going to be from other Halo games. We love Halo. We play Halo a lot. So I'm excited to see what is actually going to go on with Halo Infinite in terms of its world and in terms of its mission structure. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what goes on with that until Microsoft explains some more, or you get another demo, or maybe even they'll release a demo, a timed demo, maybe something like like what they did with Resident Evil, or not Microsoft, but what Capcom did with Resident Evil 2 remake, where you had however many minutes to get as far as you can in the game. So maybe they'll do something like that. But it's Halo, it's gonna sell regardless of what platform you get it on. I'm sure it'll be a fun experience. Maybe less so with the original Xbox One, but with the Xbox One S and up, and especially if it gets released on PC day one, I think it's going to be a pretty awesome experience, just to have something so different from Halo. But the last thing I wanted to talk about, because it kind of looked weird in the demo, was the addition of a grappling hook. So Master Chief now has a grappling hook, which is fine. To go back to the Breath of the Wild example, Link can just climb whatever, like he's Spider-Man. He can climb up any side of anything, as long as it's not wet, like he's Spider-Man. So that's a very, very like a far reach from what we were used to with Zelda games, where of course we had the grappling hook, or even the hook shot, but Link can just climb. So maybe this is going to be a way that we can diversify our gameplay with Halo rather than just shooting, because of course they did in the demo. They attached their grappling hook onto enemies, which didn't really look natural, honestly. It kind of just looked like you were kind of just being floated over towards the enemy, where as if the enemy was just rock solid and you had no weight, which didn't really look natural. It looked weird. But of course you can bring explosive towards you and throw them, which is a welcome experience, in my opinion, a welcome feature. So the grappling hook is one of the things from a gameplay perspective that I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how people can diversify their gameplay. And I really wonder how people are going to be able to break the game using the grappling hook to get possibly outside of the map and maybe in areas that they're not supposed to go into yet. But leave me a comment down below as to how you feel about Halo Infinite, because I'd really like to know. It's a pretty mixed bag right now, and I'm always interested in seeing what people like or what people say about these projects that take such a left turn in their formula, like Breath of the Wild did. So maybe it's a positive, maybe it's a negative, but that's up for you to decide, and I'd like to know. So leave us a comment down below and leave the video a like if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and we'll see you on the next one.